got a question real quick. We got the order down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bro Off Radio.
All right.
Sorry. I thought that was my cue.
Now loading Bro Off Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 4th episode of Bro Off Radio, the podcast that successfully summoned Shinron with only 4 Dragon Balls after we slaughtered Dende.
It's a little fucking retarded.
I mean, we don't need Dende or the full set of Dragon Balls to get our wish. We just tell Popo what's up, and he gets it done for us. I'm your host tonight, Rhett, a.k.a. Tenseiken, joined by my co-host and partners in crime, Ian, Chase, and Jesse. Guys, happy 2016.
Hey,
happy 2016, guys.
Happy New Year and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gonna be our first podcast of the new year. We haven't had an episode in probably about a month's time or so, before Christmas and whatnot. And a lot's taken place since then. What we got on the agenda for you guys today is we're going to had a little sadness going on with some celebrity deaths, some that kind of touched us personally and whatnot. Going kind of brief, talk about that, celebrate their life, whatnot. Awesome Games Done Quick was last week. I know pretty much all of us really got into that. Talk about that a little bit. Going to talk about some games that are kind of falling behind on the hype train a little bit, such as The Division and some other stuff. And then finally, we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 7. Yeah, it's been out for a month, but fuck it. We love Star Wars, and it deserves to be talked about. And we're going to go just balls out on spoilers. We're not even going to hold nothing back. I mean, it's been out for a month. You guys have had a chance to see it. So if you haven't seen it, fucking stop listening right now. Go watch the goddamn movie. Come back and talk fucking Star Wars with us, okay? Jesus.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. We will have some sort of warning, though. We're not going to be, like, in the middle of talking about, like, David Bowie and just be like, Star Wars spoilers! I actually nearly fucking said one.
Yeah, I'm about to.
So, yeah,
well, it's going to be the final topic we talk about, so you guys can listen to, like, the first few topics, and then once we start mentioning Star Wars, if you don't want to listen to spoilers, which, if you've listened to us before now, you know that we don't hold back on spoilers. We kind of go real just balls deep on spoilers. So, if you hear us start mentioning Star Wars and you don't want to hear spoilers, fucking get out. Go watch the movie, come back, listen to this awesome, no award-winning podcast, and we'll be able to have a good chat, good time here. First and foremost, Jesse, do we have any new comments or anything to talk about?
You know, we have a handful, but normally we've accumulated more comments between episodes. And I'll be completely honest, what we have put out as of late has mostly just been, I've been working on the ad video for our channel, which is now set up to show up in advertisements on other videos, as well as the autoplay video. So we've got a little bit of feedback on that. Thank you guys so much for that. But because it's been so long since we've had a straight-up episode, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. That said, I would encourage you guys to go check out our new autoplay video, and it's also listed in the feed of new videos. It's hell if I don't remember what it's called though, but it's basically a video that showcases our talents and like what you can expect from the channel. And so if you've been just sort of trying to get some of your friends to check us out, that's a good video to show them, to just be like, hey, this is what Bro Op is. And I think it's important to note that we are not a Let's Play. Like, I am happy about all of the input we've gotten. I'm happy about all the comments that we've gotten on Reddit that's just like, well, I don't normally like Let's Plays. And I'm usually quick to be like, well, thanks so much. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, we're not a fucking Let's Play. Because I think most of us kind of hate Let's Plays. Because they can be boring. I know, for example, I watch Game Grumps, but Chase, you can't really watch them, can you?
No, I like their recaps of the best of the certain months, but I can't stand to sit there and watch Aaron be just absolutely retarded about a level for like an hour.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I can usually handle it, and I feel like Dan does a good job to keep it going. But our channel is not really meant to be what Game Grumps does. We're doing something a little bit different, and our channel is more of just highlight videos, funny highlight videos. So again, if you want to show somebody what we're all about, that's a good video to show them. We really appreciate you guys and really want to grow and want you to grow with us. But that's all I've got on that section.
Okay. Not to toot our own horn or nothing, but the ad video that he's talking about, It's funny as hell. I mean, we are hilarious. We are a hilarious group of people. If you watch our ad video and you hadn't watched our channel yet, you're gonna be hooked. Show your friends, show your mother, get everybody hooked, get everybody watching us because it's be the best time of your life.
Specifically, show women ages 70 and older,
Specifically,
and toddlers 6 and under of both genders.
Yeah,
because those are the people.
Even if the baby hasn't been born yet, let them listen. Just do that weird. Okay, this is getting weird. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about things in our everyday lives. What have you guys been? What have you watched lately? Played, read, listened? Just every day. What's been going on in the world of you guys? Ian, let's start with you.
I have watched Star Wars Episode 7 5 times since it came out.
Damn.
And I have been playing The Old Republic. I've been playing Battlefront 2.
The world outside of Star Wars does not exist to you right now, does it?
Not right now, man. Star Wars. I just want to be in a galaxy far, far away right now. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree more. I'd want you gone.
Yeah, I don't want to be with you fucking idiots. Anyway.
Savage.
Also, to add to that list, Ian, you've read Star Wars. You've literally done everything.
I also recently read Star Wars Aftermath. It's the first of a trilogy of books that takes place in between episodes 6 and 7, and they're actually canon. They're actually going to be canon with the story. So it was really, really good. I highly enjoyed the book. I definitely recommend it. It's set up a little strange, but it does tell a lot in that story, and it's really, really fun. I will be discussing it a little bit more once we actually talk about Star Wars Episode 7 later, because there are a few things that happen in that book that I want to kind of draw not parallels with, but talk about.
Yeah.
It's involving The Force Awakens. But other than that, Sonic All-Star Race is pretty fun.
You've been playing that for a total of 3 or 4 hours, right?
Yeah, but it's fun though. I mean, fuck off.
Well, I mean, fuck off. Who's been trying to tell you, or who tried to tell you previously that it's a fun game? You should try it.
I mean, Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick and
Wreck-It Ralph.
That's right. Danica Patrick. No, seriously, it's on Humble Bundle. It's a cheap game right now. You can get it for $5. Actually, by the time you hear this podcast, it's probably over with. So, sorry, but it is just the way time.
Whose
works.
fault is that for not listening to this sooner, dumbasses?
Well, it'll be my fault for not getting it posted sooner. So it all falls on Rhett.
On Twitch right now, so it's still my fault.
Twitch listeners, go download it. People who's listening by other means, sorry. Chase, what you been doing?
I have also seen The Force Awakens several times, not quite as many times as Ian, but I've seen it 3 times, and I've also been kind of on a Star Wars kick. I've been playing Knights of the Old Republic. I was completely sucked into it, and I got a little sidetracked when I started watching Jessica Jones. About halfway through that, it's pretty good so far. If you haven't seen it, I suggest giving it a shot. Trying to think what else I've been playing. I've played quite a bit of Halo. I guess that's really about all I've done.
Did you mention that you've been playing WoW?
Yeah, but I mean, all I really do is grind for mounts, so I don't know if that's really playing WoW.
Just flying me around.
Yeah, flew you around
and helping me out. Oh, fuck me then. Well, fuck me. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a favor, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, that's all I've really been doing. What about you, Jesse?
Oh shit, what have I been doing? I have been playing a little bit WoW. I've actually been enjoying WoW more than I have normally. I don't know why. I'm finally getting to where I don't mind doing the questing, and I sort of treat it a little bit more like a single player game, which was something I never really did previously. Outside of that, I also went ahead and during the Steam sale, I weighed my options and decided the one game I needed to come out of that with was Chroma Squad, and I played it a little. It was pretty good.
How much time does Steam say that you've put into that game?
Oh shit, I don't know, maybe 2 hours.
Worth
it. Worth the hype.
And I know why you've been playing more WoW and why you've been more interested in it. It's the deeps, bro.
Oh, so deep. I gotta get deeper. I gotta get deeper.
You have.
If there's one thing that we're about, that we're about, it's definitely deeps.
Mm-hmm.
It's the deeps, bro.
Except Ian, his deeps are
I was about to say everyone but me.
Well, I wasn't going to call him out, but yeah, Ian has to.
Yeah, my deeps
step up
suck.
a little bit.
At least my deeps sucking. Wow, they're pretty good in Tor.
Yeah, but nobody plays it, no, so we don't know that for sure.
You right?
And then outside of that, I don't know. I bought some comics a while back. I got caught up on those, but not a whole lot new and exciting going on. Yeah. How about yourself, Rhett?
Not a whole lot has changed since the last time I talked about this. Still playing WoW, which a lot of it's been me trying to farm for this title, which I'm one achievement from. Anybody who's familiar with WoW and the Flamebreaker title, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. This title is a bitch, and I'm on the last achievement, but it's going to take me a minute to get it because I can't. I've done everything I can. It's just not working out for me. So here's hoping. I definitely don't want that to be the only reason why I resub for another month because my time's about to run out in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm working so hard at it. Other than that, of course, I've seen Star Wars 3 times. Watched Jessica Jones. Just had a lot of me time. My wife's been gone for 2.5 weeks to Ireland on a school trip. So it's just been me and the pets at the house, and that's been pretty much spent playing WoW. And then for the entirety of last week, whenever I had a free moment, or any time I was at the house for that matter, I was watching AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick. Really got into that, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But
Yeah, I watched the fuck out of that too.
Yeah, so
me too.
and other than that, I'm just trying to convince Chase to buy Sonic All-Star Racing, and so far it's not working out too well for me.
Damn, is he ever trying?
I'm using whatever means necessary. I'm messaging anyway. But yeah,
if we get $100 donated, Chase will buy.
I will buy that many copies of it.
That's a waste.
Incentive.
That is a waste of money. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been up to. So let's go ahead and just get started with our topics here. We're gonna go ahead and get the sad stuff out of the way. I mean, it's big news in the world right now, and it's just the deaths of some celebrities and people who really touched the lives of some people in different ways. Among those celebrities, I mean, we got David Bowie passed away, Alan Rickman has passed away, and then before either one of them, Lemmy Kilmister, heavy metal legend, passed away. And I think there's been a couple more since then, but we'll go ahead and talk about them a little bit. Because I mean, if nothing else, their lives deserve to be talked about. Something to just recognized in their achievements and whatnot. So, Ian, if you want to kick us off with that, you got any thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, like you said, we've had quite a few celebrities and stuff pass away. A couple others that to mention were, hang on, I got a couple people here. Dan Haggerty passed away.
Who is that? Remind me.
Remind me.
That is Grizzly Adams.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, Grizzly Adams. And Brian Bedford. He was the voice of Robin Hood in the Disney animated.
Oh yeah.
So a couple more people there, and there's more actually. There's been like 8 to 10 people pass away in the past like week and a half. That were pretty big names,
and most of them from cancer.
Yeah, like 90% of them were from some type of cancer. Man, yeah, like it's a little, humbling, not really humbling. I don't know if that's the word, but like it kind of lets you see, just how quickly things like that can happen and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Bowie. I think the Bowie one was the one that kind of got me off guard the most, because like most of these other people, we knew something was like wrong with them. We had they had came out and said they had cancer or something, but Bowie had it for 18 months and didn't ever tell anybody. So him just passing away all of a sudden 2 days after his birthday, his new CD and his new music video came out was pretty wild. But all of these people were, like you said, highly respected people. They've touched the lives of many people throughout their lives. I know like a bunch of my friends who were very upset about, especially with Bowie and Rickman. And it was pretty filthy. I've seen a lot of like really filthy pictures on Facebook and stuff of like people drawing pictures of like Snape, like with Lily finally and stuff like that. And I also saw where they've officially the people who name stars. I don't know how you get that right, but people who name stars made a constellation for Bowie. So that's kind of cool too. So, you know, people, you know, it's really nice to see that all these people who, you know, touch so many people through their lives, you know, those people are being able to recognize them. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd like to say on that, like, this is one of those weird situations where, like, I've not really given a lot of thought to any of these people until recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know a lot of the people I know are more heavily impacted than, like, say I am. So, like, I can't necessarily say that I'm the biggest David Bowie fan, but I can say that I respect his work, you know, like, and the same goes with most of these individuals, is that, like, when this doesn't necessarily impact my life a lot, but I can see how it impacts a lot of people's lives in the sense that these people and their work has inspired so much. For example, Alan Rickman, like, I haven't really thought about him until recently, but, like, when I went through and looked at a lot of these different stories, I was just like, damn, he was cool as shit. Like, I didn't really realize that, but you go through all these stories of him filming Harry Potter and things like that, and the other actors' interactions with him and things like that, and I was just like, this was not only a talented individual, but a really cool person as well. They talk about, like, the stories of David Bowie, like, and David Bowie kind of being a pioneer for being just a weird fucking dude, you know? like, but straight up, though, like, David Bowie's a really good example of being your weird goddamn self and getting away with it and shining in it, you know? Like, that's what I can respect out of Bowie's work.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and, you know, Lemmy, I don't know an awful lot about Lemmy's work. I'll be completely honest, just sort of tying it back to what we talk about more often. I was introduced to Lemmy through Brutal Legend. I was introduced to Lemmy Kilmister through a video game.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know who this dude is, but I like the Kilmister. Like,
yeah.
Like, I was like, I think he's fucking cool.
So yeah, I'm in a similar boat as you with these people. Like, I didn't really, like, I knew of them. Like, especially Alan Rickman, he wasn't too popular in my world until, you know, Harry Potter come around. It's like, oh, well, he's Snape. That's cool. And then, you know, I remember him from, like, Dogma, and, like,
I keep fucking forgetting about Dogma.
Yeah, like Kevin Smith's been posting a lot of stuff lately. Like, he's been pretty tore up about Alan Rickman, which, you know, makes sense. But, excuse me, about going back to Alan Rickman, like, I forgot that he was even in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Like no joke. Until people brought when he died, and people were like, "Oh, you know, rest in peace, Die Hard guy." I can't remember his name. Hans Gruber, is that it?
Yeah, Hans Gruber.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Die Hard guy. I hope nobody has done it like that, right? I'm posting that on Facebook right now.
Okay, well, my bad. I didn't mean that to be insensitive. But, like, I've had no idea that that's who he was in that movie because I haven't seen Die Hard in so long. So.
Yeah.
And then, like, David Bowie, man, I couldn't tell you anything he's done other than he always had, like, crazy, like, 80s hair always. You know?
And if anything, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool guy, but I don't know a damn thing about him. Like, I couldn't tell you one song he sung. So, like, I, you know, it didn't impact me much more than, oh, that sucks.
Well,
you
did used to play a lot of DDR. Do you remember Let's Dance?
I don't know. I'd probably have to hear it.
Oh, shit.
I'm sure you've heard Let's Dance before.
Yeah. Let's Dance is what introduced me to Bowie. Outside of Bowie being a character on the Venture Brothers, but he didn't voice himself. But I really liked his character.
I forgot his character was in Venture Brothers.
Yeah, because, okay, one of my favorite moments from the Venture Brothers, they introduced David Bowie in, and he's some sort of, like, mystical badass. I don't remember if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but, like, he can change into animals and shit. And, like, at the end of it, like he appears to kick somebody's ass and just goes, "Hello, I'm David Bowie," and then like he kicks his ass and turns into like a raven and flies off, right? And then like the Venture Brothers are just like, "Holy shit, the dude from Labyrinth just turned into a bird," and like I've always loved that bit. Now that said, that has nothing to do with David Bowie as a person. I don't think he had any input on that. I don't think he even voiced himself, but that's what introduced me to David Bowie. Like I was like,
I really thought you were gonna say he couldn't turn into a bird.
like now David, he couldn't turn into a bird, but I still respected him.
Yeah. As far as like the deaths we talked about or whatnot, like I'm kind of with Chase and the David Bowie thing. Like, I've always been familiar with David Bowie, and I've never seen Labyrinth. I've seen that the
Magic Dance.
The song, the Magic Dance clip several times in the past week because a lot of people keep posting it. That's the most I've ever seen of Labyrinth, and that was the first time I've ever watched anything related to Labyrinth. Mm-hmm. I liked him in Zoolander. He had a little cameo in Zoolander that was actually kind of funny. He was the judge. They had that like freestyle model tournament.
He was.
Yeah, and he was like they needed a judge, and he just comes out and he's like, "I'll be the judge" or something like that. And just goddamn David Bowie. So, I mean, I don't know much about him. I know a little bit about him here and there, and kind of like his impact he had on like music and whatnot. And for that, I respect him. And in terms of just not knowing anything about him, that's my fault. I just never really watched Labyrinth or anything that he ever did.
Yeah.
But I mean, I respect the guy, and I condolences to his family and his fans and all that sort of stuff. Now the Alan Rickman death kind of hit me a little hard because obviously Harry Potter. There's a connection to Harry Potter. I mean, he was part of that franchise throughout the entire. I mean, what was it, 8-9 years that thing was that was going on. And then Die Hard is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I loved him in Die Hard. And just just other things he's been in. He was the voice of the what was the robot's name from?
Oh yeah, he was fucking Marvin. I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
he was Marvin the paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he killed it. He did a really good fucking job on that role, man. So
yeah, like he plays the serious roles so well, but like the funny stuff he did, the humorous stuff. He also, I mean, he was just a great actor. Everything he just did really, really well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it sucked to hear about his death. But and then the Lemmy. I mean, just me being a big rock fan like I am. I mean, I've never been just a big Motorhead fan, but I'm a huge fan of rock, and he's definitely had a huge just influence in rock and metal. And luckily, like me, Ian, and Chase were fortunate enough to see him live back when he did like kind of a cameo with Metallica a few years ago when we went and watched him. So we actually got to see him live, and that was really awesome.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I got to see him live, and they actually covered one of Motorhead's songs. So I got to see him live playing one of his own songs, and that was awesome and everything.
I thought they played two.
They might have played two. One for sure. They played King Diamond and what was the other one? It wasn't Ace of Spades or nothing like that.
Yeah, if it was like the main song I wanted them to play, they didn't. But
yeah, well, I mean, Ace of Spades is easily like his most popular song. Motorhead's most popular song, and I don't want to be like cliche or mainstream or nothing, but if I'm going to see Lemmy at all during my life, I guess I would prefer him to play Ace of Spades. But hey, I got to see him. Let me correct my grammar.
I got the Psalm.
Ian, did they play Peace Sells?
No.
No, like
I know.
Yeah, to fill you guys in, back when this happened, like I was trying to be as sincere as possible, and I was just like, man, I didn't listen to a lot of Lemmy's music, but I really liked Peace Sells, and was just like, God damn it, Jesse, it's not even it's Megadeth.
But yeah, I mean, those are the deaths that bothered me the most, and it's just a sad thing all around. And like we said, it's just cancer, man. It's just victims of cancer, and it's just happening to so many people so soon. In such a small time frame, right here at the beginning of the year. It's kind of like Ian says, it just sort of opens your eyes to like how fragile we are and whatnot. But
absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and that kind of gets us to our next point really, really well too. The next topic we want to talk about.
Yeah, shit! I didn't realize we had such a good segue.
Yeah, all these people passing away of cancer and everything like that. That talks about the next topic very well.
That is actually, yeah, you're actually perfect.
Yes, I am.
that's actually a perfect point.
Well, goddamn, I'm glad we can spend 60 seconds talking about how perfect Ian is.
Ian is perfect.
Yes.
But no, as far as the celebrities, you know, the important thing is they live great lives. They had such a huge positive impact on a lot of people, and that's what we need to take from it and remember. But like I said, you know, they were taken by cancer. Luckily, there is a awesome event a charity event to help prevent cancer, and that is Awesome Games Done Quick, which happened this past or last week rather. It's a great event. It's speedrunning. What it is, it's like a week-long event where you have all these speedrunners come together. They have a schedule set out for all these games, and they get together and they speedrun it, and they stream the whole thing on Twitch, and people who's watching can donate. They have certain prize incentives and all this sort of stuff. You donate, try to raise money, and for this particular event, it goes to what was the name? Prevent Cancer? What was the name of the
Cancer Foundation?
Yeah, the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So it's a fantastic event for a fantastic cause. Out of all of us, the one who's probably most familiar with Awesome Games Done Quick is Chase. You've been watching for years. What's your thoughts on the event itself? This year's event.
It's starting to get a little weird for me because like I haven't been watching since it was called like Classic Games Done Quick or anything like that when it was in like Rom Scout's basement. You know, like I'm not that hipster about it. I started watching it. I think my first one was AGDQ 2014. I think that's the first one I watched. And that was like the first really big one. And it was amazing. I loved it. It was so much fun to watch. They weren't insanely strict with their rules like in chat or just at the event itself. And then 2015 was kind of weak. It had not as good of a lineup of games, so it was all right. But they broke their record again. 2014 was the first time they raised over $1 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and then 2015 they raised 1.5 million. And then this year you can kind of tell that I'm not going to say the event is dying per se, but I think they're going to have to, I don't know, liven up a little. Like, they need to stop taking this so damn serious. Because, like, this year they only made 1.2 million, which is very close to just AGQ 2014. So, like, the schedule was better this year than last year. They could have put in some more games. I've talked to some other people about this who watch speedruns more than the people on the call here, but they're starting to cater to too wide of a crowd, in my opinion. Like they're starting to put in games just because that game is popular. Like I have no problem with them closing with like Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger or in any popular RPG, because that's kind of like a staple of AGDQ. They close with a real big game like that a lot of people like, and that's when they get a shitload of donations. So that doesn't bother me, but like it's getting to where I can't go into everything because it would take forever. But like they're starting to kick people out of the event for like really stupid reasons. Like you were getting banned in the Twitch channel chat for saying now. First of all, let me say Twitch chat is freaking cancer itself. So like it's as bad as 4chan or anywhere, you know. But like people who would say not even like that hurtful of things, they just be like, I can't think of a good example. They'd be like, you know, go speedrunners or whatever. They'd get timed out for that or something. And it was just really stupid things. But you know, moving away from the negativity of it, there was some really, really good runs. I know, Rhett, you watched some, didn't you?
Oh, several, as much as I could.
Yeah.
Anytime I was at the house,
I watched all of it.
No, I mean, anytime I wasn't at work, if I was at the house, this was on my screen. Even when I was asleep, I'd just leave it on all night and be watching it. And even like during lunch breaks and stuff, I was watching it at work, you know, when I could. So I don't think I was watching as much as Ian did at work. But,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I
watched as much as I did at work.
Yeah, I work security at a Best Buy. So while I'm up there just at my desk, I just had my phone streaming it the whole time.
Just people just stealing shit.
Yeah, people just stealing shit. I was like, whatever, AGDQ, baby, woo.
They get out the door and you're like, Tom!
Oh, shit.
But yeah, Chase, was that pretty much your thoughts and impressions on the...
Well, I mean, if we got time, I was going to ask...
Yeah, I feel like...
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, like, what were some of your favorite runs that you got to watch?
That I got to watch?
Yeah, because I, never get to talk with anyone about speedrunning, because I feel like I'm the only person that watches it until recently.
The ones I really liked, well, I really liked the Azure Striker Gunvolt run because I didn't know this game existed until they ran it, and I enjoyed the run so much that it actually made me go buy the game. I forgot to mention that in the recap earlier, but I actually bought that, and I've been playing that a little bit here and there, and it's a lot of fun. It's like Mega Man meets anime. It's a good blend. It plays like Mega Man X, like the Mega Man X series. It's got a lot of anime elements and stuff to it. It's a really fun game. And that run, which I didn't really understand at the time because I hadn't played it, but it was pretty wild. The Tazbot stuff, the Tazbot Mario 3.
I went back to
Mario
watch
Kart
the
64.
Tazbot thing. I liked that. Well, I only saw the Mario 3 one.
Yeah, TaskBot is always a surprise. Those guys are absolutely geniuses when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like programming, but they are gods at it.
And then I'd probably say my favorite block, because they have it set up in blocks. They'll do game series, one after the other for a couple hours, and then they'll move on to another. I have to say my favorite block was Castlevania, because I woke up just in time the day that happened just to watch from Castlevania 1, and they played 1, 2. What was the order they did? They did 1. They didn't do 2. They did 1.
3. I know they played 3.
Okay, 1, 3. Super Castlevania 4, and then Symphony of the Night, if I'm not mistaken.
Bloodlines.
And Bloodlines, thank you. And it's just, me being such a huge Castlevania fan, it was just so awesome to watch them just totally destroy this game. And games that took me, the ones I have actually beat, the ones that took me weeks to beat, they're doing it in an hour or so. So yeah, that was just off the top of my head some of my favorite runs I got to watch.
And I probably enjoyed this one more than I ever have. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but, I'm not really all that into speedrunning. I used to be almost resentful of it, because I was just super, just averted to it, I guess. But, this past one, I found myself getting really excited about it. And I don't remember what it was that I was watching when I first tuned in, but it was also a really interesting experience being able to talk to all 4 of you about it, or all 4 of us about it, because normally it's just me and Chase talking about it. So, it was really cool for us to be something that we all had to talk about. And it was really just for that week a little phenomenon of ours, almost like an E3 in a weird way.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know who it was that said this. It might have been Chase, but somebody was just it almost felt like being at a convention.
That was right.
That was me.
Yeah.
It's funny because, and I've told this to you guys already, but a few years ago, me and Ian was just kind of shooting the shit one day, and I said something about, it'd be cool if somebody came up with an idea of having an online convention of sorts. And that sounds crazy. I mean, they'd have to really make it work, but some kind of online interactive experience that simulates the convention feel and whatnot. And I literally felt like this is what that was, because it was streaming all the time. You got to see the runs, you got to see the crowd that was watching. It honestly got to the point to where it felt like I was a part of it, especially being able to talk to you guys and then seeing the Twitch chat and stuff. It felt like I was a part of it without actually being there. And, a lot of times when I go to my conventions and whatnot, when I get back, I experience something that we like to call post-con depression or
yeah.
And I had that. I was very vocal about that for the past few days after it went off, how I wish it was still on, because I got so used to watching it and I enjoyed it so much. As a matter of fact, it bothered me so much that I actually started replaying the whole thing on Twitch for 3 days after the event ended. I was still watching the replay of it because I enjoyed it so much. This is the first time I've really got into it this, because in the past I'd watched bits and pieces of the AGDQs, but never really just sat down and watched it nonstop, as much as I could, like I did this year. And I really got into it. I'm really psyched for Summer Games Done Quick, which is the second event they do. They have 2 every year. They have this one and they have Summer Games. I'm really psyched for that, which is, it's a few months down the road. But, I really loved it. I really got into it. Couldn't get enough of it, and I'm sad it's gone. But, hey, it's a very, very positive, enjoyable experience, and I'll definitely tune in as soon as I can. And we were talking about the money earlier. I know, me and Chase or Chase specifically pointed out how he was kind of worried that they weren't going to hit $1 million, because it was looking pretty, the donations were looking pretty low there towards the end of the event. Mm-hmm. And luckily that weekend it just kind of skyrocketed past that $1 million mark. So I was glad to see them get past $1 million. But like Chase said, it's not as much as they got in the past. Now, I enjoyed it, but some stuff that Chase mentioned I wasn't able to experience myself because I wasn't actually at the event. So I hope nothing happens to diminish the event or lower attendance or anything like that, because I really loved it and I can't wait to watch more.
Yeah, agreed.
What
I like that.
About you, Ian? Do you have any favorite ones?
Yeah, I had a few favorites. I actually woke up at like 4:25 in the morning one morning just so I could watch Star Fox and Banjo-Kazooie. And Star Fox, kind of shitty. It was supposed to start at 4:30, and they obviously started at like 4:20 because like I got there and it was already like halfway over. But that was okay. It was still a good run, and I've actually since then talked to the guys who actually ran it at AGDQ, and I'm trying to speedrun Star Fox 64 myself. But you know, who knows what'll come out of that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. The Banjo-Kazooie one was really, really fun too. It was can't remember his name.
It's
Stibbity Boo Boo.
Bobo.
Yeah, Stibbity Bobo. Yeah.
Chase knows what his name is.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bobo.
that's my Stivy Bobe, son.
That's my
favorite.
Stibbity boy, son.
Yeah, Stibbity Bobo. He did a great job with the Banjo-Kazooie. So like, it's so fun watching these people just exploit and just destroy these games. Like they'll be like, all right, here's a dungeon that like it's a place you're not supposed to get to until you have like 80 puzzle pieces or whatever. I'm about to glitch through this wall and fly up to it, and I'm in. You know, like, how many puzzle pieces you got? I got like 5. All right, cool. Whatever.
It's so
Also,
interesting.
Yeah, I also loved which one was it? It was the All Dungeons Ocarina of Time run was really fun to watch.
Yeah, ZFG is a genius.
Yeah, he's really good, and it's so fun again just to watch people exploit things. So like getting into the water temple, he never even drained the river, the lake. Like he got in it anyway.
Yeah,
ridiculous. So yeah, those 3 were 3 of my favorites. The Kaizo Mario one was also really good.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah, so and any of the I've also found myself really enjoying any of the ones that were like boss dungeons reverse order. I thought those were really cool too. Like they do the every dungeon in the game, but they'd start with the last dungeon and go to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool. Just how bad you could exploit the game.
Yeah, I think they did that with I know they did it with Super Metroid. I know you can do it with Zelda.
Yeah, he did it. He did it with Super Metroid, and they also did it with Zelda. I think Link to the Past.
Yeah, that's the main one that I know of that you can do it with.
So,
well, if you don't mind, Chase, I was going to ask you this. Didn't you say there was a little bit of, maybe not controversy, but a little bit of a dispute over it being a different charity this time?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. There is a bit of a dispute because, like Rhett said, it's the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So a lot of the donations that come in, they'll be like, hey, my grandparents died of cancer, and I just wanted to give all the money I can to help fight against cancer, like to help cure cancer. And that's not what this foundation does.
Yeah.
Like, this foundation makes people aware of cancer.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, hey, go get screened. Hey, keep up with whether you have cancer or not, basically. I mean,
it's pretty much a early warning type foundation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I saw this brought up kind of recently, where somebody was just like, know what you're donating to. You can donate to cancer awareness, or you can actually donate to cancer research.
Yes, and see, that's the problem. That's going back to them raising less money this year. I think people finally realize that it's going to the Prevent Cancer Foundation instead of, Fight Cancer Foundation. And on top of that, the Prevent Cancer Foundation only operates inside the United States. So, and you've got people watching and donating from all over the world. And I think people overseas, like, you get a lot of European people watching and stuff, and a lot of the donations come from there. If you go back and watch it, and it'll usually tell where they're from, or like Germany and stuff. And they're donating their money, which, yes, you can still say, oh, well, they're still helping people, and that's great. I'm not arguing that, but they're not helping their own people at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of them realize that, and they're just like, I would donate, but this isn't helping my people.
Yeah.
And I feel where you're coming from with that, but I don't necessarily feel like it's degrading in any way like that. The last AGDQ, the one that got 1.5, 0.2 of that was from the Humble Bundle.
Yeah, they didn't have a bundle this time.
And they didn't have a Humble Bundle this year.
I didn't realize that.
So if you count in that other 200,000 that they got from the Humble Bundle, still it wouldn't have been 1.5, but it would have been 1.4 and a half. So it would have been really close.
Something else that to point out about the charities, though, like Rhett said that they do SGDQ, which is Summer Games Done Quick. That is a different charity. That is for Doctors Without Borders, which obviously goes everywhere. And SGDQ is generally the smaller one, so they oftentimes make far less money. Like here's an example. You know, I said AGDQ 2014 was the first time they broke 1 million. All right, well SGDQ that year only got to 700,000. So you can kind of see the difference there. It's not that big, but it's there. And
it's still impressive.
It's consecutive. It's almost consecutively been a $200,000 to $300,000 difference between them.
But then this year, AGDQ got 1.2 million, and then SGDQ of last year got 1.2 million. So they're about on the same playing field now, which is just surprising to me because SGDQ is generally the worst one to watch. It has more games you haven't heard of, you know, things you don't really know about. So it's cool to see it grow.
Yeah, it is a little like strange to me that Summer Games Done Quick is the one that doesn't do the most, because like I feel like having an event like a charity event right after Christmas wouldn't do super well compared to one that's in the middle of the summer.
I agree,
but who knows?
You know, especially with like, well, I guess school's still out for a lot of people during this one, but you know, during the summer it's school break and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like there'd be more people who would have more of an opportunity to watch. So it's a good point, but hey, you know, they still raise up quite a bit of dough for some really good causes.
That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Summer Games Done Quick gets more than AGDQ this year.
I fully expect it to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to watch it until my dick falls off. I'm super, super excited about it. So
I'll be right there with you, bud.
Excellent.
With our dicks just laying on the ground.
The visual I got. Just, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a nice picture. All right, so moving on from Awesome Games Done Quick, but staying on the topic of games.
Topic of rotten dicks.
Just staying on the topic of rotten dicks. Well, you know, rotten could be a good word, but staying on the topic of games though, some games that have been, you know, announced in the last year or so that received quite a bit of hype going in, but kind of seems to be falling out now. Some things I'm not even hearing about no more. Going to talk about that a little bit. Jesse, I think you might have had some input on this you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so a game that I've been pumped about ever since. Oh shit. What was it? No, sorry, man. I'm trying to find what E3 it was. Like since about 2013, right? Is The Division. Like, this was a huge, like, polarizing thing for me, which was, The Division was coming out, and a lot of my friends were super pumped about The Division coming out, and we're trying to decide what consoles we're going to play it on together because it's, like, a huge, huge thing for us, and the original reveal trailer for that game was some of the best graphics I've ever seen. And then we also had Watch Dogs going on in the background. And then Watch Dogs came out, and the quality of that game's graphics were nowhere near the original reveal trailer. And a lot of people started getting worried, holy shit, is that going to happen to The Division? And sure enough, a lot of the later videos we saw didn't quite have the same degree of graphical downgrade, but they're definitely showing it. And so it's raised this big concept in my mind, which is a lot of the games that I've been hyped for the past couple of years, like, the diminishing returns on that hype is tremendous. Like, a new video came out for Division the other day, and I was like, oh shit, that is a game that's still coming out. And I almost don't even care anymore. And I kind of want to bring that up to games that we've been pumped for, and, you know, the promise that those games have, and how we've been burned so many times by other games in the past. Like, are we even really all that certain that they're going to be that good? For example, like, can you guys think of some games that, like, you were really pumped for and they came out and they were, like, utter trash?
Well, I wouldn't call it utter trash, but Metal Gear Solid 5 falls in that category.
That's immediately what I went to as well. Like, I was just like, don't give up. I still gave it, like, what, an 8.5 out of 10? Like, it was a great, fantastic game. I loved it to death. But there was always that thing in the back of my mind where this wasn't the game we were supposed to have originally gotten. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so that was a little disappointing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Well, it's good that you bring that up, because I guess I don't necessarily mean that these are games that are heavily hyped, that are garbage, but they're definitely, like, the expectations have been set too high. Does that make sense?
They
Absolutely.
don't fully deliver.
Yes, thank you. That's a much more apt description, because I think that's becoming a big concern with games. For example, The Division is looking more and more like a really good example of that, which is Destiny. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Like the more gameplay we see of this game, the more it becomes aware that this game basically looks like Destiny in New York. Like, because it's not so much an MMO in the respect that you're going to see people out in this world, which is a 1-to-1 recreation of New York, by the way. Like, it's really excellent looking. But, like, you aren't going to run up on people as if you were playing World of Warcraft. This is an instanced MMO where you go out into the world in parties. And it's just like, wow, okay, this is looking more and more like The Division. Another game that had a lot of promise and turned out to be a wet fart. So, like, it's a little concerning. Any more thoughts on that, like Chase? Because I know you played Destiny with me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really enjoyed Destiny.
Mhm.
The only reason I quit is because I had no one to raid with. Because the raids are actually incredibly hard, and it was just me and Jesse.
Yeah.
And then Gino would occasionally play with us.
Mhm.
So, past that, we couldn't raid, because raids are like, I don't know, an 8-man team or 5, I can't remember, maybe 7, who knows.
Mhm.
But
some fucking number that we didn't have.
yeah, some number we did not have. If that game had a raid finder similar to World of Warcraft, I would still be playing it right now. I would have probably bought all the DLC, the expansions, everything. Because I really enjoyed Destiny. Like, the storyline wasn't there, but I mean, I don't play WoW for its story either.
Mhm.
So I liked it, but yeah, it definitely failed to deliver for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it's 10 out of 10, go buy it right now, because I mean, I haven't played it in a year. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know how long it's been out now, but I haven't played it in forever, and I'm probably not going to ever again. But when I did play it, it was great.
Yeah. And that's just yet another game that we were so fucking pumped for.
Mhm.
Like, I think Destiny got sort of... this is all a blur in my head right now, but Destiny was one of those games that I was pumped for about the same time as The Division. And it was just like, what consoles is everybody going to have? What are we going to play these games on together? And
I seem to remember this.
Yeah, and then Destiny was not my cup of tea. And I was just like, well, maybe whenever The Division comes out, I'll be able to play. Because I've still got a bunch of people that are on the other side of that console fence. Like, I've got a PC and a PS4, but, like, my ex-bros, I can't play with. So, like, for The Division, and for rumors of there being cross-platform play with it, I'm just like, I really want that to be good. But if it's not, man, like, there went my last-ditch effort on that issue. Ian, can you think of anything that, like, you've been real hyped for lately that you just lost hype for, or do you have anything else to say on that particular issue?
It's not necessarily anything that I've lost hype for right now.
Mhm.
There's a few things that I'm scared of. Like,
Yeah,
not scared
there
of,
you
but
go.
like there's a few games that I'm really excited for, and I'm hoping they don't end up sucking. Probably the biggest one right now is Star Fox Zero.
There you go. That's a good example.
Because I'm super excited about Star Fox Zero. I know some of y'all could care fucking less about Star Fox, but I've always been a big Star Fox guy. I just got done talking about Star Fox like 10 minutes ago. But always loved Star Fox, and Shigeru Miyamoto. He's like, nah, it's not a reboot. It's not, but it totally is. It is a reboot of Star Fox 64, and I've been watching a lot of trailers for it, not the trailers, but different gameplay videos and stuff for it here in the past week. And it looks great. It really, really does look fun. But there are some things that are super disappointing to me. Like, one of my favorite levels on Mario Kart, Star Fox 64 was Zonus, where, you have to fly through and destroy all the searchlights before they hit you. In this game, you still have Zonus, but you're in the little, like, helicopter type ship.
Yeah, that thing. I've seen that thing.
Yeah, but you're in that, and you're sneaking up, and you're, like, turning off the lights and stuff, and it's supposed to be kind of like a stealth mission.
Mm.
And that's cool, but I think I'm gonna miss the fast-paced action that was the original Zonus level.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, one thing that's, like, I'm just like, I hope that the game doesn't end up being such a disappointment to me because I have got a lot of high hopes for it.
And I want to add to that is that I honestly think this. Like, I honestly think this is happening. I think that Star Fox game is potentially going to be the next Twilight Princess in the fact that it's being developed for a console that's probably not really going to be supported by the time it comes out. I honestly think that this game's probably going to get pushed to the NX. Because, like, Nintendo, like, all these NX rumors are coming out now, and Nintendo finally seems to be realizing we're going to have to fucking abandon ship and try something new. I know a lot of people love the Wii U. I'm not trying to shit on people that love the Wii U, but fucking money doesn't love the Wii U. And, the NX, from a lot of what we've talked about previously, is looking to be sort of just more of a next-gen powerful version of the Wii U. Like, the controller still appears to be the same, so this game could still work on it. But, like, I feel like that'll probably happen to that. And same with, that gives me another example, which is the new Zelda. You know? Like...
do we have any, is there any rumors as of yet as to when the NX, like, would be coming out or anything like that? Like...
Okay, there are, and I sure as shit don't have them in front of me. But, like, I heard that the rumor was that, honestly, this holiday season. Like, that...
Oh, okay, well, Star Fox is slated for April.
Really?
So, yeah,
well,
so...
goes to show how much I fucking know. But, I do want to say at least the same thing about this next upcoming Zelda. Because, like, people were super pumped for it, and then they were like, this doesn't look even close to showable. Like, that's the thing. Like, they were like, yeah, the concept of a free-roaming Zelda sounds cool, but this doesn't really look done enough to be showing it to people. And I feel like a lot of people are getting sort of like concerned about that as well. Rhett, do you have any input? Like, any games that have let you down lately, or games that you're sort of worried might not be as what you've expected?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Games that let me down, we already talked about Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And I had to step out for a second, so I'm not sure if this was talked about or not. But Arkham Knight,
hey, there you go,
was actually kind of a letdown. Now, I still enjoyed Arkham Knight. It was really awesome, but it did disappoint me, and it's definitely not Arkham City. Arkham City is still my favorite out of the bunch. Which Arkham Knight did come out. Yeah, that was 2015. I can't remember if it was 2015 or at the end of 2014, but yeah, I got the same time as my PS4, so it was last year. So Arkham Knight let me down. Let me down is kind of a harsh way of putting it. It didn't really let me down. It just wasn't, like Metal Gear Solid, it wasn't the game I hoped it. Like, there were some things I was hoping would happen, some theories I had about it and whatnot, and the ending kind of fell flat for me, so in both games. So yeah, those were probably the two games I was most excited about this past year, and they both, were great experiences, and I spent a lot of time, a couple of all-nighters playing them. And really loved them, but they just weren't the games I wanted, not the full experience I hoped for. Some games that are coming out that I'm really hoping lives up to the hype. We've already mentioned Zelda. Star Fox would be fantastic. Both of which I have to get a Wii U or the NX, something so I can play it. And then of course Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3 is another one I'm looking forward to, which I don't think. I don't know. I'm really confident in Kingdom Hearts. I don't really feel like it's gonna really let me down. I'm real confident in it. Probably more so than I have been some of these other games. And then something I feel like I'm missing.
I actually just thought of another really, really big one.
Go ahead.
Legion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because like they're pretty much putting everything but the kitchen sink in this, so it better not suck. Like,
well, this is like a last ditch effort.
I can be a little bit more forgiving for an expansion, because I hope I get more out of this than I did with Draenor. Warlords of Draenor was awesome, super fun for a month, and then it was just like, we're done. There's not much more to do on this. So if I can get like 2 to 3 months worth of awesomeness out of Legion, then I'll feel like I'll feel accomplished, because it is an expansion. So I can be a little bit more forgiving on that. But that said, I am stupid excited about it. More so than I've ever been in any other expansion for anything ever. So it has the potential to completely let me down, because my personal hype train for this game is going off the rails right now. So, or for the expansion rather. So I just hope Zelda, Star Fox, Kingdom Hearts, and Legion all live up to especially the personal hype expectations that I have for them. Because, like I said, this past year was a little bit of a disappointment in terms of what I really hoped I would get out of the games I was excited for.
All right, excellent. All right, well, do we want to go ahead and move forward, or is that the bulk of it? Because, like, I really did want to touch up on that. I feel like a lot of games have just let us down to the point that we're kind of jaded about games that we anticipate now.
Well, I know that was like a big topic you wanted to speak about.
Yeah.
So did you pretty much get all your opinions and whatnot?
Yeah, because I know you guys don't have a whole lot of input on the Division, so I mostly just wanted to use that to spring jump the conversation. I feel pretty confident about it. I will say this. I will go ahead and mention these two games too. We've felt sort of the same way about games like No Man's Sky and Star Citizen. Like, both of these games are huge, wide open games that promise to have so many features, and I feel like Chase and I sort of represent two very polar opposite perspectives on this sort of thing. Two completely different ways fans can look at these things, which is I'm sort of on the fence of, oh, it looks so cool, it's going to be so awesome, we've seen so much gameplay, it's going to be great, whereas Chase is the more realistic, cynical perspective, which is, but we've seen a lot of shit that wasn't in the final release of games that we were pumped for before. Like,
yeah.
For example, Chase, like, what are some things that you're concerned with No Man's Sky in particular?
Man, like, I feel like he's not necessarily promised too much, but at the same time, he's promised way too much.
Yeah. Well, like, I'll let you talk, I promise, but, like, in an interview, he was compared to Peter Molyneux, and he sort of blushed about it, and I was just like, son, that is not a compliment.
Yeah,
like,
not good anyway.
Oh, no.
At all. Like, I guess he could be like, oh, well, if they think I'm as good as Peter Molyneux, he's popular, right? Yeah, for the wrong reasons.
So I didn't know about that, and it's funny you bring that up, because, Chase, when you said that he's promised too much or not enough or whatever, I immediately thought of Fable.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you guys brought up Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the gameplay of it looks amazing. But, I mean, we've been fooled by gameplay before, just like we've already said. With I hope the Division doesn't turn out that way, but Watch Dogs certainly did.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that, when they fly off a planet and just go straight to another one, it's just as fluid and awesome as it looks, and when you land and all the monsters are there and you can build, and, like, I hope it looks good. I feel like it's gonna fall flat. Even if he does deliver, like, if he delivers, let's say 90% of what he's promised, I feel like at this point that game is almost like Half-Life 3. Like, there's absolutely nothing that Valve could do to release Half-Life 3 and it live up to any type of the hype it's got.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. All right, well, that's pretty much everything we can elaborate on that. As far as the Division and some of these other games we mentioned, be plenty of time to talk about them later down the road when it gets closer to release. But that's just kind of our thoughts on the hype of it and the expectations for some of these games coming out in the near future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We are not holding back. We're gonna just go into this thing. We're gonna give our thoughts. There will be spoilers. It's going to be impossible for us to talk about this without there being spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie, first of all, what the fuck? Secondly, go watch the movie before proceeding. But otherwise, you're going to have quite a bit spoiled for you. Of course, if you've been on the internet anytime between now and when the movie came out, you've probably already had some things spoiled for you anyway. Probably by GIFs and pictures and videos you weren't expecting to spoil it for you. But either way, I digress. Star Wars Episode 7 talk commences or starts right now. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. For those of you who have seen the movie, thank you for joining us. We will continue. Ian, what were your thoughts on Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens? Go.
As far as my thoughts on Star Wars goes, Han Solo gets killed by his son, who's also Kylo Ren.
That's a thought? My opinion is that Han Solo dies by the hands of his own son in this movie.
Yeah.
We warned you. We warned everybody.
Absolutely. So. But no, guys.
Tuned in right now.
They tuned in right at that moment.
But nah, all that joking aside, real talk. It was everything I wanted it to be and more. Anyways, yeah, it was everything I wanted it to be and more. I went into this movie hoping for the best, hoping for it, but prepared for the worst. But guys, I was weeping when the movie was over the first time I saw it. And every time I've seen it since, I've teared up a little.
Yeah.
That's how good the movie is. Growing up, I grew up, with... I watched episodes 4, 5, and 6, growing up, but I wasn't there for the release of those, but they still were, a lot of my life. Like, I've spent so many times watching those movies. And when the movie was done, when the credits roll, I couldn't hold it, guys. I fucking wept. And it was so good. I can't even. But all that being said, there were obviously a few things that I was like kind of hoping they would do a little bit better, but it was still everything I needed it to be. I'll let everyone else kind of get in what they thought of the movie before we go into like discussion about the movie.
I was about to say we could probably sort of frame it to have like gripes later on.
Yeah.
Well, then who wants to go next? Because are we going with the order? Yeah, Chase, go.
Okay. I really, really like the movie. I'm not a huge hater of the prequel trilogy myself. I
Yeah.
I don't think they're better by any means. They're the best movies ever. But like, I'm not one of those guys that just shits all over. I'm like, oh my god, this is just trash. I enjoyed them. I had fun with them. If I could take something out, it'd be Jar Jar, like anyone else. But I enjoyed the films. But anyway, The Force Awakens was a good middle ground between the old movies and the newer.
I think that's a really good statement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good middle ground, and if you've seen them all, you'll know what I'm talking about. Especially the people who really hate the old ones, and or the prequel trilogy. Obviously. But I really enjoyed the movie. It was excellent. I seen it 3 times. Once with my dad, and Dad hasn't seen Star Wars in a long time, and he really wanted to go see it. And first thing he said when we got outside was, "I can't believe it killed Harrison Ford," and I was like, "Shh." Be quiet.
Honestly, I do want to take my mom, and I that's one of the first things I considered is she's probably gonna blow spoilers as soon as she walks out the fucking door, so I need to tell her to be courteous of that.
Yeah, that's all I really got to say about it for now until we get to
exactly.
If I might interrupt right there, speaking of like parents watching it, Ian, because the first time you watched it, Mother was actually with you, and for those of you who don't know, Ian and I are brothers, so we share a mother. Anyway, Mother was with you. Did she have any kind of that you noticed? Did she have any kind of reaction towards Han's death or anything? Did you?
After I didn't notice anything during the movie because I was too entranced by the movie itself.
Right.
But afterwards, when we were talking about it on the way home and stuff, like me, her, and my girlfriend, who all went to watch it together, we were all just like, we knew it was coming. Like, it had to happen. Like,
right.
So
yeah, that's exactly what chat just said, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew he had to die. Like, and we knew it was going to happen. So, that was pretty much Mom's mindset about it too.
Yeah.
Well, I adored it. I will say this much. You guys are pretty aware that I'm vocal about this. I don't consider myself a huge Star Wars fan. And a lot of people are always cringe to hear that the first Star Wars movie that I watched all the way through was Episode 1. Like, I got into Star Wars through the prequel trilogy, and I was only vaguely familiar with the original trilogy. But I personally feel like that has at least framed my expectations a little differently. So that, like for example, I don't personally have that much of I don't place the original trilogy on this insane pedestal. I look at it as a set of movies, and I'm just like, well, those are decent, but I don't necessarily understand why people hate the prequel trilogy by comparison. And I will say that for me, this new movie was exactly what it needed to be. Kind of like how you guys talking about it striking a balance between the movies. Like, I feel like it was a really, really good parallel to the first film. And a lot of people are complaining about that. They're like, oh, it's too much like A New Hope. And I'm just like, No, it does what the prequel trilogy failed to do, which is it pays tribute to the originals without, like, retreading that ground too heavily. I've seen people talk about how, like, for example, you didn't necessarily have to have C-3PO and R2-D2 in the prequel trilogy. You could have done other things to sort of draw parallels without just, like, basically having straight fan service. And another thing that I really love about this movie, personally, is that to me, it feels like a really good starter movie. Like, if you don't know anything about Star Wars, I feel like this is a really good movie that captures the feel of Episode 4, but is a new movie with new effects, strong story, and you can just jump right in and just be like, everything you need to know about Star Wars you probably already know because it's been regurgitated to death by popular culture. But yeah, had a great time with it. Rhett, how do you feel?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I've seen the movie 3 times. The first time I watched it, I loved it. I loved it, but I wasn't sure exactly what my complete opinion was. I mean, it was definitely a positive opinion, but I wasn't sure to the full extent how I felt about it. I actually enjoyed it more the second time I watched it.
Right.
I loved it the first time, loved it even more the second time, and the third time was just enjoyable because I'd already seen it twice already. I mean, I thought it was a great film. I thought it was a great Star Wars film. Like you said, I thought it was a good starter film for the new trilogy because it did have that same feel from Episode 4. You know, Episode 4. In Episode 4, you didn't see Luke do any kind of lightsaber battle. Hell, you saw one lightsaber battle at all.
Yeah.
You didn't see Luke become a Jedi or nothing. You know, it was a good startup film. The film itself is fantastic, and I know a lot of people actually prefer it out of all of them. They think the first one is the best, or Episode 4 is the best one. Me personally, my favorite is Episode 5, and always has been, and probably always will be, unless the next 2 episodes are just it just blows my mind. But as far as this film, when I saw it the first time, I didn't know exactly where I placed it in terms of my favorites from top to bottom. After watching it the second time, it's firmly placed behind Episode 5. Episode 5 is my favorite, and then Episode 7 is probably my second favorite Star Wars film. Probably followed by Jedi after that. But yeah, I mean, it was a great film, great characters. The character development was really well done. And it has a couple of surprise characters because obviously you knew Finn and Rey were the 2 new main characters. Poe was just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was even a character. I'd never seen his actor or nothing. Didn't see his casting. Didn't know he was going to be a character. And even at the beginning of the movie, it just kind of felt like he was going to be kind of a support character of sorts.
Yeah.
I really loved Poe, and I know a lot of other people really did too. A lot of people like him. He's their favorite character. So, and he was in the movie throughout the whole thing, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, it was a great film. A lot of great action. Han's death was predictable, but still hit me right in the gut. Something, if you want to get kind of detailed about it, is, watching Han die was one thing. There's a scene where it shows the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and Chewie is the only one in there. And that scene hit me harder than any of it because it's there's no more Han, and Chewie's actually sitting in the captain's seat. And I was like, oh, it was like my feels, my heart. Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, they did a great job of hitting me right in the feels. Like you predicted the death was coming, but it still hurt, And the character, I mean, I liked, at first when I watched it, I didn't really care for, I didn't know if I cared for Kylo Ren. Not so much the character, but the actor portraying him. I wasn't sure I was behind that. After watching it a second and third time, I really enjoy him now. I don't know what it was about watching it again, but I really like Kylo Ren as a character and as the actor. Adam Driver, I think is the name of the guy that plays him. I like him playing him. I guess he had to grow on me, but once he grew on me, I was hooked. I was totally okay with him. And that's another thing about it is the big bad. Kylo Ren, who's portrayed as the big bad. He's not done. He still has plenty of development to go.
And I'm very excited about that because it doesn't make the mistake that Episode 1 did, which is introduce a badass fucking Darth character and throw him out with the goddamn trash. We had to get more out of him.
We'll get talking about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay, with Darth Maul, they introduced him and then kind of got thrown out of the film saga, at least in the first film he was in. And then on the flip side of that, Darth Vader was automatically established as being this badass bad guy, and he was still the same dominant bad guy throughout all 3 films, 4, 5, and 6. Kylo Ren was the dominant bad guy, kind of leading up to it. But like I said, spoilers. He doesn't win. He doesn't win the final battle between him and Ray.
I mean, do we even have to worry about a spoilers tag at this point?
No, I've already announced it, so at this point, fuck it. But yeah, there's
spoilers. Han Solo is killed by his own
But there's an epic battle at the end of it between Kylo Ren and Rey, lightsaber battle, and after it's done with, I mean, Kylo it's kind of a draw, really. I mean, Rey kind of gets the upper hand right there at the very end of it, but the battle doesn't end because neither one of them dies or nothing like that.
Yeah.
They kind of get separated and they kind of go their own way. And there's even a crack in it. The guy that Kylo Ren answers to actually admits that there's still Supreme Leader Snoke admits that at the end of it that that Kylo Ren still has training to do. So he's not even like to his full potential yet. So that's awesome. He's been established as someone who has room to grow along with the other characters. So he's going to progress the same way while like Rey and them progress too. And that's going to be awesome to see that come to a conclusion in the last episode.
And while we're talking about Kylo, like I've got a couple different things I want to hit up, but like while we're talking about Kylo, one of the biggest things I want to talk about is a lot of people don't like him because a lot of people think he's a whiny bitch. I love the shit out of this character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
He's honestly like he's a different side of the dark side than we've ever seen before. Because up until this point, in the movies at least, all we've ever seen of the dark side's the like cool, calm, and collected, evil dark side. Where he's an opposite side of that rage. He is rage. Like he throws temper tantrums. But I love that. Like, I really do. So.
And like another thing too is that, like, every villain doesn't have to be, like, I feel like, in a way, villains like Darth Vader are almost, in a sense, like Mary Sue villains. Like, they're just like, oh, I'm just pure evil, and I don't make mistakes, and I don't fuck up, like, and, like, whereas this guy, you can tell he doesn't really know if he wants to be doing this. Like that's the thing. Like throughout this, he's trying to convince himself that he is the baddest motherfucker out there, and like in the back of his head, he's just like, man, I really shouldn't have killed my dad.
Shit.
In hindsight, that may backfire later.
But that's how I feel. I feel like he is so swept up in this, man, that he's just making like for example, in the flashback, right? Or it's not a flashback, I guess, but that weird like Force vision that Rey has. It shows him standing surrounded by the Knights of Ren, and a lot of people have speculated that was like his first turn to the dark side, where he actually like killed some people, like presumably like other trainees. Like, Ian, cut me off because you sound like you're
if you actually read not if you read it, but the people who have been able to read the actual like not the script, but the
novelization.
Not the novelization, but the screenplay, I guess.
Yeah, the screenplay.
Yeah, people who've been able to read the screenplay say that is Luke's Jedi temple burning in the background.
Right.
So this was that scene is him and the Knights of Ren turning on Luke, essentially.
And the thing that I want to say about that is that I know he's wearing a mask, but I'm looking at that going, this dude realizes he fucked up. like that's what I'm getting, is that he seems like shaky and uncertain of himself in that moment. And I feel like every step he's taken from this point forward is, well, you've killed a bunch of people. You can't stop now. like you got to keep going.
It's honestly almost the opposite of Darth Vader, because like Vader, Anakin kills Mace Windu and he's like, what have I done? And Sidious is like, well, he goes start killing other people. He's like, LOLK.
Yeah.
Well, whereas Kylo is just like, what have I done? And then he kills someone else. He's like, what have I done?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point, because Anakin's kind of whiny and stuff too, but it really just ceases as soon as he becomes Vader. Like, once he becomes Vader, he just accepts his mission. He knows what he has to do, and you don't really hear him, especially like in the original trilogy. He's pretty focused, up until towards the end there. So, it's fun to see this just I mean, we talked about his lightsaber before, how he's got an unstable lightsaber, because it's not like all just, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just smooth and fluid like the other lightsabers. This one's kind of all just shaky and chaotic. and it literally. I feel like his lightsaber represents like his personality, because his personality is all torn to shit, and just he doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. Really, he has his main mission that he's focused on, but he's still torn on the inside about it. So, so yeah, he's just a great character. I mean, the more you think about him, the more you're just like, man, it's gonna be awesome to watch him develop, along with everybody else.
Go ahead, Chase.
I can't wait to see how strong he becomes.
Yeah,
personally, because okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Vader like the strongest Force user period until now?
No, Vader had the capability of becoming the strongest Force user of all time because his midichlorian count was fucking ridiculous. But because of him being kind of cut down in his prime and becoming like almost a half robot, the Force has to have living tissue to be able to act and breathe, essentially like that. And because most of him was robot, that actually significantly depowered him.
Yeah,
but
it's funny, I never looked at it like that before.
Yeah, had that not happened, he probably would have been the most powerful Force user of all time.
Well, see, I think that's how Ren's gonna work out. I mean, he's inevitably gonna have to be stopped. I mean, he's the bad guy, but I think they've already made him out to be incredibly powerful. Now, he did get, his ass handed to him there after he got shot and stuff, but he's still really strong, and I can't wait to see how strong he gets. Because, I want him to be able to do, Star Killer stuff,
and
pulling destroyers out of the sky and shit.
I'll say this much. Yeah, I did like that in Force Unleashed, but I've said this before, too, is that I feel like this movie did a good job of matching the old movies and having downplayed Force powers that are still impressive. Because, all the expanded universe Star Wars stuff seems to go, how DBZ can we make this? How much can we push the envelope of the Force? And when you do that, it makes Darth Vader look like a pussy. Because you've introduced all these characters that can do all these crazy things. What this movie did instead is it had little things. Little subtle things to make you go, whoa, we haven't seen that before. And Chase, I know you know what I'm talking about. Which is
Shut up. It didn't happen.
Okay, I'm not actually talking about Force speed.
Okay, well that's for another time then.
I think you're talking about the laser and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that, like him force freezing a laser in space. But at the same time, I feel like that built him up to be stronger. And I personally don't have any problems with the way that fight went down because he was shot. There was a lot of stuff going on.
He was shot by a gun that is literal fuck you.
Yeah.
But, I agree. Kylo is super powerful, and but to retract on a point that I made way back when we were talking. Remember, I was Kylo can bend people to his will, and we've never really seen people do that before.
Yeah.
It turns out I was actually wrong about that. After starting to watch the Clone Wars series and the Rebel series, finally, Vader does that to Ezra. He forces Ezra onto a wall and almost makes him cut his own throat with the lightsaber.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, people have done that before, but we don't see it all that often. So it is awesome seeing that Kylo can do that. And like you said, with being able to stop a fucking laser bolt in midair and just leaving it there until he just was left.
Yeah.
He obviously wasn't concentrating on it anymore because he was talking to Poe and everything. And then finally when he leaves, it's oh yeah, I could deactivate that now.
And it's such a great just opening scene just to set the tone for this character.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, this isn't the Kylo Ren show. There's plenty of
Yeah.
Go ahead. It seemed like you had something you want to say, Ian.
That's actually what I was about to say was kind of going back to what Jesse was just talking about the final fight and everything like that. That is one thing I have heard a lot of people complain about is that, they build him up to be really powerful, but then he ends up getting beat by someone who had no training. And
yeah, I definitely want to address that too.
Yeah,
Please.
I loved that fight, and my mindset of that fight is he, like you said, he had just taken a blast from a gun that had been established this entire movie to be just literal fuck you.
Yeah, just raw as shit.
Yeah. He had just taken a blast from that to the stomach. So that should have killed him. Like, let's be honest. Like,
if it had been any closer to like the middle, because they hit him in the side.
Yeah.
If it had been any closer to like the middle of him, it could have like just broke him in half.
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
It could have.
Well, my only problem with that particular gun and people being like, oh, well, it was fucking blowing people like 10 yards away. Like, he clearly didn't like do any force powers to make it not blow him away, and it literally didn't move him.
Like, again, it hit him in the side. And
I still feel like that would have blown him off that little thing that he was standing on.
I feel a lot of times situations like these are sort of like, for example, I fill in those blanks almost by automatic. Like, I'm just like, well, he's doing this, or well, he's doing that. And I feel like that's a difference between you and me, Chase, is that's like, whereas I will try to imagine what goes in the plot hole, you're just like, no, that's a plot hole.
Yeah.
So, like...
But no, I'm kind of like Jesse. I feel like, yeah, he's definitely, from the point that he gets shot till the end of the movie, he's definitely having to use the force to keep himself up.
You see, that's
like,
what I'm imagining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a clear gap between exposition, which is it telling us what's going on, and imagination, which is us assuming what's going on.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the big difference, and that ties back into the Ray thing, is that a lot of people are like, oh, Ray's overpowered, Ray's a Mary Sue. And meanwhile, I'm going, no, idiots! There's been awakening in the Force! Like...
Yeah, but that kind of does bring me to where I was going with all this, Bill.
Yeah.
So he gets shot. He survives that, which is already a feat in of itself. And he gets up and he starts fighting Finn first. Well, technically, I guess he starts fighting Ray first because he throws her to that tree and just immediately like defeats her.
Mm-hmm. Snaps her neck in half and the movie goes off.
Yeah, the credits roll. But
Best movie ever.
But Finn gets up and starts fighting him. And this Finn, as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe Finn has force powers at all. Like, I really don't think he's going to end up being a Jedi. He ends up picking up the lightsaber, fighting Kylo, and Kylo ends up beating him, but Finn manages to get a good hit on him. And people are like, well, how did this guy manage to hit Kylo in the middle of that fight if Kylo's so badass? And I'm like, well, first off, it's obvious from the point that they start fighting that Kylo's toying with these guys. He knocks them down. He knocks Finn down at one point and could have finished him off, but instead he does a weird, saber twirl and just kind of walks around a little bit. So I feel like he was toying with him, and then when he finally gets hit, he's like, all right, time to fuck this guy up, and he backhands him and beats him.
I'm just imagining him saying all these things the way you're saying, all right, time to fuck this guy up.
Well, yeah, but so he defeats Finn. He does get hit, but again, he was toying with this guy and was like, all right, this guy's fucking over me. But then Rey manages to get the lightsaber and they start fighting. Mm-hmm. And again, he's toying with her and still beating her. And then he's got her pretty much where he can finish her off. And he's just like, you need to join me and I can teach you and everything like that. Yeah, I can teach you in the ways of the Force. And it's clear at that point she gives herself over to the Force. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's no longer Rey fighting Kylo.
Yeah, she starts to believe in the heart of the cards.
Pretty much. She draws the Exodia and wins. But, so she gives herself over to the Force and is able to not really defeat Kylo. I mean, I guess she kind of does. She could have killed him, let's be honest. But, she beats him, knocks him down, and then runs away. And a lot of people have a lot of problems with that. It's like, oh, this is a character who's never had any training. And I'm like, but no, it's not, though. Like, yeah, she herself has it, but at that point, it was no longer her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
but I will. Can I interrupt that to say that what you're saying makes a lot of sense? But I think that's the big problem that I have is that I don't feel like that's very clearly exposed to the audience. Like, that makes a lot of sense, but what happens is the music swells and her eyes get big and she starts fighting harder. Like, to the general audience that can't make that connection, like, there's nothing that's clearly explicitly stating she has given herself over to the Force. So, like, that makes sense as an explanation, but I could see people being like, where the fuck did this come from?
I don't know, like, because Mauve, at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, but about halfway through the movie, she does tell her, hey, the Force flows through all of us. All we just have to do is let it in. She says that to her. And then at that final scene, he mentions the Force, and she goes, "The Force," and she closes her eyes for a couple of seconds, which I thought that if I had any problem with that fight, it was that part right there where she closes her eyes. 'Cause she closes her eyes for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, why is Kylo just letting
And
this
Kylo's just like, all right, you thinking about it? you thinking about my offer?
But yeah, I mean,
What you're
I
saying
feel like
makes
it
sense,
was-
right? What you're saying makes sense, and I feel
Yeah.
like if you make that connection, I get it.
Yeah, and me being the cynical, pick out every little thing, makes me want to ask: at what point in any duel from that point on are you fighting as yourself and not just as a part of the Force? You know, like just because she gave herself over, how does she suddenly know how to like defend and guard and like attack at the right time and like take out his hilt and stuff?
Well, I mean, it's like I think it was Obi-Wan who's explained before that the Force, if you give yourself to the Force, a lot of times the Force will kind of control your movements to a certain extent. I'm trying to think. Was it Obi-Wan that said that?
I know what you're talking about. It's in
'cause
episode
that's-
4, I believe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how the droid training thing like that.
Yeah, he talks about how, you know, yes, you let the Force work through you, but you also work through the Force. Like up until that point, it was just Rey fighting Kylo.
As best she could.
Yeah, as best as she could. But then once she lets the Force in, it's Rey and the Force.
And it's
the
like a
Force
battle
is
trance type thing.
Yeah, and the Force is helping guide her actions.
It's a serious buff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she right, yeah, someone dropped a buff on her, Jay.
Who lusted?
God damn it! It was me. Let me just be real. It was me.
But like, and to be fair though, it's that also goes to show how obviously Kylo does have a lot more training to go too, because in some of the books and movies and stuff like that, like some of the side stuff, they do also go on to say that giving yourself completely to the Force where it can help can also be a big no-no as well, because if you're just fighting through the Force and not using your own basic instincts, people who have the combination of the both of them down will still be able to defeat you.
Mhm.
So that's obviously also shows where Kylo does have room to grow as well.
Yeah.
So.
Something that I'd like to say to tack onto that is, you know, a lot of like what you've acknowledged. Everybody's complaints are just like, oh, she hasn't had any training, and where your justification of that is, but she gave herself over to Force, and my justification of that is that the story makes it very clear that some weird shit's going down with the Force. A lot of people have also pointed out there's a chance that Rey has already had training.
Yeah,
Like
she could have been like
Yeah.
Revan. She could have just had her mind wiped.
yeah.
And something else that I'll point out about that fight that I'm kind of iffy about is, you know, people are like, oh, well, he underestimated him, or he was toying with him, and I'm just
you hear
like,
that a little too often though.
you hear that too much, and I'm sick of that trope. Like,
Yeah.
like personally, I think there should have been a third person there, and he killed that person, and then he toyed with them, put Finn in a coma, whatever he's in, and then, you know, got beat by Rey. I would have been much more okay with that.
Yeah.
It's hard
And-
chocolate.
I don't know why, but like I hate that because, like, you know, Jesse, you were talking about, you know, we've never seen a dark side user like this before, so it's different than just being like, oh, he's Vader, he's so smart, he
Yeah.
never gets beat.
We've had
tired.
very high expectations built for this fight, so
Yeah,
I see
and-
where you're
and
coming from. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm tired of the whole, oh, well, I'm gonna underestimate you just because I'm the bad guy.
yeah,
I
that's
hate that shit.
reasonable.
Another thing to also mention from this is not necessarily something you can get from the movie just watching it unless you just kind of pick up on it, but it was another thing I read about the people who have read the screenplay. It also mentions that after killing Han, Kylo, expecting to feel stronger, actually felt weaker.
You see, and that comes back to what I was talking about. Maybe I shouldn't have killed my dad.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of emotional and mental shit rattling around this whole time.
Yeah, because you can kind of see it in the movie. He kills him, and he, you know, kind of tosses him off the bridge there, and he's just kind of staring like blankly
Like-
downwards.
Like, where's my fucking renegade points? Like-
Yeah, he's just like this doesn't feel the way I thought it would.
yeah.
You know.
And normally I hate movies that leave a lot to speculation, things like that. But for whatever reason, this particular situation, because I mean, there's a lot they'll just kind of assume on, you know, like why didn't Chewbacca's weapon kill Kylo? You know, why, was Rey so badass fighting? Just different stuff like that. And normally I would hate that it didn't give me a clear cut answer, but I don't know. I just really like it because it gives so much to like talk about and explain and just think about with others, and maybe some of these answers will become clearer in the future movies. I mean, I don't think it'll ever go back and just explain like why Chewbacca's crossbow didn't kill him, but some different stuff like that and kind of give you some more, maybe Luke will explain to Rey, like why she was able to hold her own during the battle and some, just different stuff like that, and for whatever reason for this particular, situation, I'm okay with it. Like it gives me a lot to like just conversation material, so.
And you're right, but what that reminds me of is that because we do have so much time to sit and speculate, I'm worried that these films are never really going to have a great like plot twist reveal like the original films did of the Luke, I am your father. Like I don't know if these are ever going to have that because we've already speculated the shit out of it. Like, and we're gonna have more time to speculate because, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Rey's Luke's daughter," and then some people have purported a possibly better theory of no, Rey is probably related to like Obi-Wan or something like that.
That's the one I'm hoping for.
But the thing is that we're gonna have so much time that they're not gonna surprise us with it, or maybe they will.
That's true.
But I'm worried that if they do surprise us with it, it'll be so retarded.
It'll be so off the wall. The one thing I know to compare it to that I know Ian and Rhett will understand, and maybe anyone else watching, is like the whole in Naruto, Obito and Toby.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, like the whole time you knew that was him, and like at that point, like they could have done some crazy off the wall shit, but instead they're just like, just do it.
Yeah.
Because he calls himself, Madara at one point, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's actually Madara," and I was sitting there like, "No, he's fucking Obito."
Yeah,
a good example of that is I don't know shit about Naruto, but when you showed me that, Chase, I was like, "No, that's Obito." Like you explained why everybody thought that, and I was like, "That can't be anybody else." Like,
yeah, that's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to me, there was kind of like, the reveal for this movie, like the big reveal is obviously, I
know what the big reveal was for me, but you go ahead.
Well, I mean, they announced that Kylo was Han's son pretty early in the movie, which also kind of set up his death, because revealing something like that early in the movie kind of left room for an even bigger moment to happen later. So that was kind of a reveal there, and among other things. But to me, like, it wasn't really a reveal. It was kind of a plot twist, because it's kind of weird to go back and think about this now after seeing it so much. But, the lead up to the movie, the promotional material, really made you think that Finn was the next, like, Jedi, was going to be like the next successor to Luke or whatever. And no, he was, I don't want to say he was a supporting character, but he literally was like a building block to Rey's character. Because, I mean, Rey, it kind of just, the plot twist was, to me, was, no, Rey is the next one up. She's going to be the next Jedi and all that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, you saw the material with Finn with a lightsaber and he's fighting. It showed all that in the trailers, no problem. And then that moment, when Finn gets struck down and Kylo's reaching for the lightsaber and it flies towards Rey and it's playing the music and just that whole stand. That's like one of my favorite.
Baby.
That's like one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie.
And I couldn't agree more. Wow. Yeah, because something I do wish I had said earlier in the podcast is if you have had the Han death spoiled for you and you think that you're not going to enjoy the movie, you're wrong. Because because Rey being the big hero is the twist of the movie, and it is the big reveal, and it is fucking awesome.
Because I had the Han thing spoiled for me.
Yeah, same here.
And I still really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I just cannot. I mean, I'm excited about a female lead, a female Jedi. I'm excited about all. Rey is just a very enjoyable character. Rey is Bay. You can't help but crush on her, and she's just cute but she's serious. When we first see her, she's very serious. She's telling BB-8 to go fuck himself. And just. And
you didn't even want to let him stay the night. He's a fucking robot.
He's not gonna eat any of your bread.
I mean, I'm probably more excited about watching Rey's development than I was. Just an example, and this goes way back, but in episode 1, that you're going to see, the development of both Obi-Wan and Anakin. And that's something to look forward to. And that goes way back, to 1999. But I'm more excited about watching Rey's development than I was about seeing either one of them, their backstories with Anakin or Obi-Wan. So, it's just, man, I can't wait. When's episode 8?
next weekend.
For it.
Next weekend. Fuck yes. Oh, that's gonna mess up because that's when ESA is running. No, but inside joke. So anyway, but
it's in 2017.
2017. I'm actually excited about Rogue One. I wasn't at all before Episode 7. And now that I've seen Episode 7, I'm like, I need more Star Wars in whatever way I can get it. So Rogue One, I'm excited about.
Yeah, on the subject of Rogue One, real quick, me and Jesse talked about this earlier. I read an article where Vader is like 99% confirmed to be in Rogue One with James Earl Jones reprising the role. So
nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Rad.
But going back to what you were saying about Rey, though, absolutely, I am super excited to see Rey in action, especially when. I don't believe she'll be using that lightsaber for too much longer. I feel like they will end up giving her a double-sided saber because that will definitely fit her style.
I hope
the
so,
way she fights so much better. And, I just think it's going to be really awesome seeing a female lead with a double-sided saber just kicking ass. I think it'll be really fun.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we've said a lot about Star Wars, and like most topics in the past, we could probably say more about it. But at some point we have to stop talking. So, anybody else have any more opinions about Star Wars in general? Episodes? Well, not Star Wars in general, but Episode 7 specifically.
Well, this is Star Wars in general, so you're gonna deal. But
I was gonna say too. So, go ahead.
But no, I have been, like I said, I have been starting to watch Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff here lately. And if y'all haven't been watching that, start watching both those series. Watch Clone Wars first, then watch Rebels, because Darth Maul. We were just talking about Darth Maul earlier. Mm-hmm. He gets beat in the first movie, and we're like, oh no, there goes Darth Maul. That guy comes back. He's back in the Clone Wars series, and I'm 99.9% sure he's also in Rebels now too. So that's pretty fun. Mm-hmm. So that's gonna be good. Watch it.
Good deal.
Buy a copy and play it.
Did you say you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, just as Star Wars in general, real quick. I can't believe they're making a Han Solo movie because who the fuck wants to see that?
I do. I
would like to see it.
I would much rather have an Obi-Wan movie. Just saying.
That's confirmed.
Yeah, we're getting both.
I thought it was Boba Fett movie or some bullshit.
There is going to be a Boba Fett movie, and there's going to be an Obi-Wan movie.
I think the Han Solo and Boba Fett movie are kind of like one, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. Never mind then. I'm happy.
But
so
at the same time,
we're getting Star Wars out the ass. We're getting all kinds of Star Wars over the next 27 years. It's going to be great.
It's good to have it back.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought we had
strongly too.
I thought we had talked about this before in the past, but the Obi-Wan movie is called Kenobi: Balance of the Force.
Oh no!
Yeah, and it's on their schedule, so that's a thing. And a lot of people are like, "Well, is it gonna be what's his face from the prequel trilogy? I forget his name for some reason.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, is it gonna be Ewan McGregor or what? And
I hope so.
Yeah,
it better be.
At this point, at this point the actor's aged well enough to just play the Obi-Wan in between episodes 3 and 4. So I mean, if there's among some of the small amounts of bright sides that people take from the prequel trilogy, Obi-Wan was great in the prequel trilogy. So I hope
thing about him.
Yeah, I hope he comes back. I hope Ewan McGregor, I'll spit it out eventually, comes back and reprises the role, because I would love to see that. And I feel like there's a chance of it, because he did have one line of dialogue, and he came back and recorded a line of dialogue for episode 7 for that flashback scene. So obviously he's not Harrison Ford about it. He's obviously embracing the role and willing to do more.
I don't know why that was so funny. He's not Harrison Ford about it.
But I mean, I think that's going to be pretty much wrap up everything we need to talk about on Star Wars, at least right now. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to talk about. Star Wars coming out all over the place for the next few years, so there'll be plenty to talk about. That said, that's going to pretty much wrap up all the topics we had scheduled for this episode. Any closing remarks? Anybody got anything they want to add before we wrap this thing up?
Thanks to everybody that tuned in to the actual Twitch broadcast. I really appreciate that. And we do have more stuff on the way. I'm currently editing down our next Magica video, and then we've got a lot of raw footage that I got to sort through, and we're going to continue to play more stuff. So thanks so much for supporting us, and look forward to more videos in the future. That's what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian, Chase, anything closing?
Pretty much the same thing. Thank you everyone who's helping us make this possible. We are really enjoying being able to bring all this kind of stuff to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate y'all joining us to be able to talk to us and stuff a little bit. Just keep your eyes open, guys. I think we're gonna have a pretty good year this year.
Yeah.
Got some cool stuff planned.
Yeah, going off that real quick, when we first started getting people in chat, I had it open since I'm keeping an eye on the Twitch.
Yeah, that is what you do, yeah.
And I was already talking to them before Ian got into chat, and they were like, let's just go. I'll go about that in a minute. But anyway, from what I can tell, no one's here at the moment. But just in case my Twitch is screwing up and you are still here, I told chat earlier, I think 2016 is going to be a good year for our Twitch specifically. We all have lives, so we'll get videos to you when we can, but I think this year will be a good year for our Twitch channel, so keep an eye out.
And I have felt bad about this because a lot of times when people are like, do you have a schedule? I've been like, yeah, that's coming soon. And we never did do it. But at the same time, I feel like that's something that is coming soon. I feel like once we get that hammered down, even if we are all four of us busy, like one or two or three of us, we'll probably be able to put something up on this channel.
Definitely. I mean, we're still a work in progress, but I mean, in the short time that we've been doing the podcast, especially, we've already come a pretty good ways. And the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel are growing, and it's just... And I got my personal friends talking to me about it, asking me when the next episode's coming out, all that sort of stuff. Yep. So it's exciting to see this, and I can't wait to see where we're at this time next year.
Dude,
so
same. Our free webs is bumping.
Free webs, GeoCities is looking good. Zynga. Anyway,
my Club Penguin account's real nice.
Well, speaking of accounts, Ian, how can people keep up with you outside of the podcast?
All right, guys, if y'all want to keep up with me, I don't know why you would, but if you feel like, I'm worth a damn, you can go to twitter.com/justicegaming75. That's where I tweet anything I'm doing. I'm going to be tweeting on there, and I like to retweet Bro Up, so even if you should be following Bro Up, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but
it's just so entertaining.
It's just so entertaining, but if you're not, I will also be relaying that news and anything I've got going on with any of my speedruns or cons, or I may be going to conventions or anything like that. And you can also catch me at www.facebook.com/fightonforjustice. That's my official Facebook page. That's mainly cosplay, but I will be my Twitter is also tied to that, so you'll be seeing anything on either one of those that I'm involved in. So that's the main two places to catch me.
Excellent. Chase, how about yourself?
Main place to catch me is probably going to be on this Twitch channel, which is just twitch.tv/BroUpLive. I plan to start doing my speedruns here when I get back into it. I'm not always doing that, and I'm probably going to start streaming my newer games that come out that I just feel like playing, or whatever I'm playing casually. Will probably be right here on this channel as well instead of my own. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna plug my own channel right now, especially if that goes well. You can also find our Facebook page on facebook.com/BroUp/BroUp Games, and then a shitload of numbers I'm not going to read off, so just search it.
I was curious about that after Ian said his. I was like, how the fuck did you snag a URL that works? Ours is weird.
Yes, just look us up, like it. There's nothing there, but I'd appreciate it.
Go like that barren wasteland.
Gives our fans a lot to look forward
now.
To. Yeah, just put up link to Pornhub or something. Jesse, how if anybody wants to get up with you, how can they do that? Or keep up with you, how can they do that?
Twitch.tv/jGatzB. Okay, so I never stream ever. I haven't streamed in my entire life, but the day that I do stream, you better fucking be there. So you go ahead.
We're not kidding. Fucking watch whatever he streams.
Go ahead and follow me there. And then also I'm probably treating it the same way Chase is though. So I will probably stream to Bro Up Live occasionally as well. jGatzB is my personal profile. I don't have a Twitter for that yet because God damn it if somebody didn't get it and then get banned. So I don't think I'll ever have that Twitter URL, but we'll see how it goes.
Great. And as for myself, you can keep up with me on facebook.com/Tenseiken cosplay. It's TENSEIKEN cosplay, all one word. I'm also on Twitter at I am Tenseiken, all one word again, and also at Twitch at twitch.tv/I am Tenseiken. Now, that being said, I haven't been active on any of those in probably 2 months, but I have big plans. I'm actually kind of but soon. I'm kind of a little bit behind schedule. I kind of meant to get started towards the beginning of the year. I got some things in the works that I want to get done before I actually get active again. But yeah, just go ahead and follow me on all that social media, and you'll be hearing back from me. I also just started a Tumblr the other night, but I haven't done jack shit to it. I literally just signed up for it and put my avatar picture in. But maybe I'll get
Tumblr, but it's only for porn.
Yeah, he does one for porn. But
before you visit us on Tumblr, make sure to check your privilege.
That's also
keep
true.
up with me. Also, the Chase, sorry, I zoned out. Did you plug the bro op stuff when you did yours earlier?
Yeah, I plugged the Facebook page and the Twitch.
Fucking great. Okay, cool. Well, guys, that's been our episode. We're Bro Op Radio. It's been a great time, and unless anybody else has anything to say, anybody got anything to say?
Share that ad video.
Share that ad video. Fucking share that ad video, please. It's great. It's changed your life.
And you stay classy.
Yeah, you stay. Yeah, oh my God. Yes, what he said. All right, guys, we're Bro Op Radio. It's been fun. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
Warning.